Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a fan of strategy-based combat and enjoy diving deep into the mechanics of new in-game features, then you're in for a treat today. We're going to break down the Tower of Babel, the latest endgame feature in Virtual Crisis prototype trials. If you're familiar with PGR's Babel Tower, you'll find some intriguing similarities here, but also some unique twists that make this mode stand out. Before we get into it, if you're enjoying our content and want to stay updated on the latest game mechanics, reviews, and guides, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us grow, and we'd love to see this community get even bigger. Now, let's talk about the Tower of Babel combat mode and what makes it a challenge for both newcomers and veterans alike. First things first, unlike some endgame features with tight time limits or strict conditions, Tower of Babel is a mode that gives you plenty of room to breathe, literally. There's no time limit in this mode, so you don't need to rush through the trials. You're going to take things floor by floor, and each one offers 3 trial characters. This makes the content more accessible, especially for those just starting out, or for players who may not have all their characters maxed out. One key thing to keep in mind is that while you can reuse characters between challenges, you can't use the same support modules more than once, which adds an additional layer of strategy. What's great about this mode is that you don't need to stress yourself out to get all the major rewards. Sure, if you're after a specific title or extra rewards, you may need to put in more effort, but overall, it's considered easier than the Tower of Tribulations, especially when you don't push yourself to the max difficulty. However, if you're someone who loves a good challenge, you can make your progression significantly harder by introducing the stress mechanics, which is basically the game's way of cranking up the difficulty. But we'll dive more into that in a second. The Tower of Babel has a total of 11 different tests, broken down into 2 categories, 7 crisis tests and 4 disaster trials. The crisis tests are mainly for acquiring support modules, which are essential for powering up your characters, while the disaster trials focus on determining the overall stress level of your session. These trials will determine how difficult your journey through the tower will be, so if you're feeling like a true challenge seeker, you'll want to push the difficulty to its limits. Now, when it comes to strategy and module selection, there's one crucial factor that should always be your top priority: survival. Since there's no time limit, you have the luxury of taking your time and focusing on keeping your characters alive. This is key, because the combat conditions in these trials can get pretty brutal. Let's look at an example of the Infernal Racer's test at maximum stress level. Imagine the arena is dealing 3% of your max HP damage per second. Yeah, you heard that right. Not only that, but nearly half of the arena is on fire. As soon as you step into the fire, you begin to accumulate fusion burst stacks, which deal damage over time. At 10 stacks, this fusion burst causes a massive explosion that inflicts fusion damage, and that's just one part of the nightmare. The enemies themselves explode when they die, dealing 50% of your HP and damage in an area. To top it off, every time you use a resonance skill, it takes away 20% of your HP. And did I mention the Infernal Racer attacks at an insanely high rate? Surviving in this test is no easy feat, and it will really put your strategies to the test. Another aspect of the Tower of Babel is the restrictions on class usage. For instance, characters from the Sword, Bracer, and Heavy Sword classes can't be paired with pistols or rectifiers. This limits your team composition and forces you to think more carefully about how to build your squad for each trial. So, when you enter the tower, you're not just thinking about which characters can dish out the most damage, but also about how to synergize different characters and their unique abilities. In terms of character strengths, Brant and Cantarella really shine in this mode. These two can heal and deal damage simultaneously, which is incredibly valuable in a mode that tests both your offensive and defensive capabilities. And their ability to fight in the air is a huge advantage, as it allows them to avoid a lot of the environmental hazards on the ground, especially when the arena is filled with fire or other damage zones. Lastly, the Tower of Babel opens up opportunities for older echoes to shine once again. Echoes are more relevant than ever in this mode, And if you have protective echoes, you can now use them in clear application scenarios. Since there's no timer to worry about, you can take your time to mix and match echoes to suit your preferred playstyle and the modules you have available, giving you an almost limitless amount of strategies to try out. So there you have it, the Tower of Babel mode in Virtual Crisis. Prototype Trials is a challenge that requires a mix of strategic planning, smart character selection, and adaptability to the unique combat conditions in each trial. Whether you're here for a relaxed progression or want to push yourself to the limit, there's something for everyone in this endgame mode. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video. It really means a lot to us, and we'd love to keep bringing you more content like this. If you have any questions or thoughts about the Tower of Babel, drop them in the comments below. Let's discuss and share our strategies. Thanks for watching, and until next time, good luck with your trials.